Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Communities Live here on Sheffield Live 93.2 FM. And we have filmmaker Guy Trevallyan. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Chris. How are you? You okay?
I'm very well, thank you. It's the sun is shining in sunny Sheffield. How is it on your end?
Very good. I'm in Clapham, so I can't complain. I'm in London. We've had beautiful weather the last couple of days, but in classic English fashion, I'm sure it will piss it down tomorrow over the weekend when everyone's meant to be off. But no, really enjoying it. Always lifts the mood and the spirits.
So I'm going to ask you, Guy. Who are your main influencers? And also, if there was anybody that you could work with in the near future, who would it be and why?
I say my biggest influences in film probably started with Alfonso Cuarón and Ridley Scott. Because I grew up in the Bourne Woods, near the Bourne Woods in Surrey, which was a famous filming location, where they filmed the first battle scene of Gladiator. They filmed, the famous one-shot ambush scene from Children of Men. And so I guess these big, again with Ridley, British directors who really helped me and really inspired me, I think. And then in terms of directors or people that I look up to and people that I love to work with in the future, God, you could list off the numbers, but Jane Campion, I love to work with, Zach Cregger, from the horror, the Philippi brothers, Ryan Coogler, all these who, because I love environmental horror thriller and genre filmmaking and blending that all together. So if you can do, that's why I'm really just in awe of the work that's out there at the moment, like Bring Her Back and Sinners and Weapons and all these amazing films that are just really pushing the boundaries of that genre. And the complexities of characters and the scripts are just getting better and better. So yeah, really, really, yeah, I'd love to one day work with them, and of course the OG, the probably one of my biggest inspirations is David Fincher. Seven and all the classics,
Yeah.
that Seven was a big film that inspired me, I think.
And I want to ask you as well, Guy. What was the first film that you saw that captured your imagination and thought, gosh, I really want to become a filmmaker? What was that film?
Oh, I mean, it would definitely be Gladiator, I think, and Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, just on a scale that even today can't be matched. That's the funny thing about it. Like, even something that was made in 2000 looks more real than things that are made today, just because of
Yeah.
the models and the details and complexity they went to. Lord of the Rings was definitely what showed me that you could do anything, and that you shouldn't limit yourself. And Peter Jackson's vision of Tolkien's books, just the music. It's one of those things where everything blends together: the music, the acting, the performance, the dialogue, the visuals, that it just becomes seamless. So yeah, I think for me, from a very young age, also I'm big on history as well. So Gladiator comes into that. That was such an epic film, that I just loved. And then I think with my dad, I used to watch the old, Zulu and Ben-Hur and we love those old films as well, those old war films, which were really, Great Escape
Yeah.
as well. But for me, Lord of the Rings was probably the one that cemented my passion to go into film.
You just mentioned a good point there about Lord of the Rings. We're saying it's more realistic than what it is with today's films. Because there's a lot of CGI and AI is also coming into fruition now. I mean, do you feel AI is a game changer in films, or do you feel it's gonna hinder films, if you get what I mean?
I think, yeah, I mean, AI is a tricky one. Um, I think it's going to really harm writers and creatives, and it's going to. I think a lot of people might tend to use it, and I guess if it's used in the wrong way and it starts to be used in the creative process, the
Yeah.
writing process, then that really takes away the human effort of creativity and going through the process of draft after draft after draft of script. I mean,
Sure.
God, the next one I'm doing, I'm on draft 25, whereas I'm sure AI could have done a better script in draft one. I don't know. But, and then in terms of the actual filmmaking process, I think AI, it will be a really sad day if that really takes over live action. I can see where it can come into play and maybe help animation because animation is so expensive
Of course.
to make that if you want to make a short animation and you don't have the funding, then AI is probably your pretty good alternative as long as it's not used in any of the creative writing, storytelling, character process and the character design process. But if it's used just to animate characters that are actually already creatively made by a proper artist, then
Yeah.
I don't see too much wrong with that. Um, but I certainly wouldn't ever introduce AI into my filmmaking. I don't think. I love bringing people together. I love that process of the raw process of creativity and collaboration and I just don't think you get that with a search engine on a computer.
Sure.
You
I
know,
completely agree.
yeah.
And I mean, we're going to talk about your new show, which is called Plastic Surgery, which is
Mm.
a horror thriller. I mean, so why did you choose a horror thriller as your first genre?
So I chose horror thriller because I wanted to. I've always been a big fan of horror thriller, to be honest. And then I'm big into the environment, and sustainability. And my sister used to work for the Ocean Agency, and I got a really good insight into the effect that we're having on marine life below the waves. And so I started researching about during COVID. This was so I think I definitely had an infection and disease on my mind.
Hmm.
So I started researching, our effect on marine life. I saw everything about plastic pollution, but the one thing that caught my eye was its effect on our health. Was
Yeah,
something that was very not talked about, and and it was very new, as a form of thought. Research studies were taking place at the time when I was researching it. So I was right there watching Kieran Cox's studies and British Heart Foundation studies and looking to the effects that plastic has on our body.
yeah,
And then I watched this short film called The Next Floor by Denis Villeneuve, which is a fantastic film, which talks about how Mother Nature can't keep up with humans' consumption of the natural world. And he did it in this metaphorical storytelling sense of these people eating endangered species and breaking through the floor to the next floor, and then this waiting staff have to run down the stairs to serve them until they can't keep up. And I just love that metaphorical symbolic storytelling. And so I took that with my kind of plastic pollution idea of a doctor that is treating patients with plastic seeping out of their body. And then when Anna came on board, she revealed that she was actually pregnant, and would be, 7 months pregnant during filming. So I rewrote the script based on her, and then it just kind of went from there.
and I mean, I've seen the film and the detail of what you did with the operations of the bodies. I
Mm.
mean, it's extraordinary, and it's actually quite frightening because it looks so lifelike. And I mean,
Mm.
and I've got to say, it's absolutely horrendous in a good way about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
film, but it's just yeah, it's a beautiful film, and I want to say thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that with me.
Thank you very much. Thank you. No, I mean, the detail was something that was so key for me because, research and prep is probably the biggest part of a film process. And I wanted to, just make sure that I did justice to a hospital setting and make it feel as real as possible. And
Yeah,
that meant, sharing the script with doctors, having feedback sessions with nurses and doctors, the NHS, getting a medical advisor on board, learning all these different terminologies and techniques, codes. Like even in the sound design, we added in codes that they would use on the intercom or chime. Code blue is actually the most severe trauma case code. Code red is actually one of the least severe.
yeah,
Because they try to flip it to not, make public feel uneasy. And so it's yeah, just going down to that minute detail of the terminology and what they would say,
yeah.
as well, and how procedures would take place, the blocking with the actors, the rehearsals that we did. which is really exciting. And I think, I also wanted to get across this idea of this kind of, I don't know if you've seen Mother by Darren Aronofsky, but there was very much the production design of the world kind of slowly collapsing around the actors and degrading as time goes on. As the characters are experiencing pain, so does the world.
Yeah,
And I think that's what I wanted to show in this as well, that the production design, the world around them is starting to collapse. So you'll see in the detail in the production design, the walls are starting to erode, the intercom starts to get green and mossy, kind of dirty feel.
yeah.
We have these kind of paint strips like Stranger Things seeping out onto the wall. The curtains start to almost burn as if they're kind of wilting away. The color grade gets darker and darker. So all of this is happening to really highlight the world kind of collapsing around them.
And I mean, you told me it took you 5 years to write the actual film. I mean, was it always the plan that it was going to be a short film, or would you wanted it to be a longer series?
I always planned for it to be a short film, especially because this is my first film. I just didn't want to, uh, I just find that sometimes people write a film to be a lead up to a feature, but I just felt that this had such a, striking imagery, and it needed to be told in a short way so that it could really land with an audience globally and act as almost partly a campaigning film, as
Yeah.
well. I think is really important.
I mean, you mentioned about a campaign because it actually left it on a cliffhanger. I mean, I don't want to go too
Yeah,
much into it because, like I say, I don't want to spoil the film because it's a great film.
yeah, yeah.
Do you think there will be a potential sequel to it to continue where it left off, or is that where it's going to
I
end?
mean, you could definitely turn it into a feature that you could expand on the world and expand on Dr. Terra's character, her life, because she's got a brilliant character arc and story. She's on the verge of starting this new chapter of her life. She's a young, very up and coming doctor, her first child, and everything goes wrong. And so you could definitely expand it, I think, and really play on the plastic pollution narrative further. But yeah, it's something I'm sure I might come back to it one day. But I'm already on the next projects already. My next film that we're doing in 2 weeks' time, in fact.
I mean, it's definitely a wake up call. I mean,
Yeah,
especially with how it affects our health as well. I mean,
yeah,
and like I say, with what I've seen on the film with the bodies and the detail of the injuries with the plastic, it's incredible,
yeah,
absolutely incredible. And I mean,
yeah,
and it's also very frightening because it could happen in real life. So hopefully,
yeah.
it's a wake up call for change, really. So fingers crossed that
Yeah,
it
I hope
happens.
I hope it, yeah, I hope it does act as I guess it's just raising awareness and understanding about its effect on our health, because a lot of people probably don't even know about it. And I guess it comes down to, when you're trying to tell people about an environmental issue like plastic pollution, um, often it won't relate to a lot of people that maybe don't live by the sea, have never seen the sea, have no connection to the ocean or marine life.
Sure.
How do you relate this issue to humans? And often you'll find that people make their biggest changes when they realize their own life is in threat.
Yeah.
And when your own health is in threat, you suddenly are like, whoa, okay, shit, now I need to really make a change.
Yeah.
And yeah, so hopefully it's striking, it's memorable, and that people love it.
And you got a couple of well-known actors, including Daniel Ings
Yeah.
and Anna Popplewell. I mean, tell us how they got on board.
So, Anna, we had a casting director. We got Anna on board through him. I always wanted to work with her because I'd seen her in a play in Birmingham, and so I wrote her a letter, just talking about the character, a person. I always write if I can imagine the actor in my script and for the role, I always write them a personal letter just about, the script, the character, the story, how I want to work with them, how I want to collaborate. I'm not someone that's attached to the script on the page. I like
Sure.
collaborating and expanding because, there's only so far you can go with writing in a dark room, a world that you're trying to imagine in your head.
Yeah.
But you have to allow room for the actors to bring, well, what they do, which is performance and bring something different. And as long as you get the beats you need, the story beats, then it's always good to allow the actors room to breathe and room to perform, and not hone them too much. Just and really let them act. And
Yeah.
try not to be too narrow, not try to be too what's the word, strict on the script. And then Daniel Ings, I worked with him on a film called Stuntman. So we've always been texting back and forth, and I said, I think he was filming Night of the Seven Kingdoms at the time or something else. So he was only really available for the intercom. So then we did that together and did all the voice recordings for that, which was just really fun. He's a brilliant actor and really kind of went in on it. So it was brilliant.
And I mean, how long did it take for you to film the actual short? I mean, was it a long process? Did it come together quite quickly?
4 days was how long we filmed it. Yeah, 4 day shoot. So quick. So we had to film a lot. Yeah, but it was brilliant. I loved it.
And I want to say it's also won Best Thriller at the Academy Award qualifying Holly Shorts. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. No, that was a complete shock. Because you don't write anything to know, what it's gonna how it's gonna be received at all. You just don't know.
Sure.
And I tend not to look at reviews as best I can because I just get scared. But because again, you just make for me, it's all in the process of making the film and bringing people together and making something unique and different and just showing your voice. But it's a collaborative project where you bring together lots of different amazing creative people. So that's why I'm really excited for my next one, the active learning, which is going to be really exciting.
I mean, you just mentioned about reviews, but I don't think reviews are always right because I think it's a matter of opinion for when you see
Yeah.
the film yourself. Because a lot of people might say, "Oh, this is great, this is rubbish," but it's not. If it's not your cup of tea, then I think it's your own opinion that really matters,
Yes.
really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and I mean, you just mentioned about your next project, so can you tell us a little bit about that, or is it all secret?
Yeah, so that's a really exciting project. It's all about undiagnosed dyslexia. It's set in the mid 90s, 1995. We've got a brilliant cast for that. Anna's returning with me as well on that project. So I won't reveal too much now, but you can see us on social media. We're releasing some stuff today. We're this weekend because it's Diversity Week. So we're announcing our charity partners for the film, which is the Head and Arkle Dyslexic Charity and the Dyslexic Association. So they're coming on board, helping us, make the film and advising on the film and helping promote the film and yeah. So it's just really exciting. It's an exciting time.
Well, I would love to help you on that because I actually have neurodiver. I'm actually part of the autistic spectrum as well, so I would love to help out and promote your film in the near future.
Yeah, please, Chris, that'd be fantastic. We can do another call about active learning would be fantastic.
So, I mean, I've got so many questions I would love to ask you. Unfortunately, we've quickly run out of time. So,
Yes,
but
yes.
what I want to do, I want to get the final word from you. So, what would you like to say to our listeners who is currently listening right now?
I think I'd say, the world is quite a terrifying place at the moment, and I think cinema has this incredible power to really enhance people's understanding of the world, of issues, of morals, of lots of different things. And I'd really urge listeners to give short films a go.
Yeah.
They're on Disney Plus, they're on Netflix, they're online. You can have a look on Short Verse as well. You can have a look at some incredible shorts, and you'll find some really powerful stuff that comes across very quickly, beautifully cinematic, and just something very different from your usual Netflix streamer of a feature film, or something that is longer. This is a quick commitment of under 20 minutes,
Yeah.
But I'd really urge listeners to give short film a go. If they can, Plastic Surgery will be released online very soon, I'm sure. So look out for that. Follow us on Plastic Surgery underscore film, and yeah, keep watching shorts.
Guy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for having me on.